I'm Dr. Dave with Utah State. But first, what happened Friday night? I heard something happened Friday night. What was it? Yeah! Way to go! Way to go! Way to go! Took care of Sky View across the street. Yeah! Congratulations. What about the ladies? 9 in a row?
I love you too.
The lady basketball. You guys are doing an awesome job. You guys are doing rowdy right, as the other Dave says, right? So, I love the Hope Squad. I wish there was a Hope Squad when I was in high school because they do so much good. They have symbols like this, and they are able to help and reach out, someone to talk with when you are struggling. So today's topic, it's a sensitive one. It's an important topic to address. First off, I'll start on the lighter side. How many of you love Halloween? How many of you love dressing up? Yeah. The Schramm fam loves Halloween dressing up. So I thought I'd share a few pictures solely for the purpose of embarrassing a couple of our daughters. Yeah. Oh, so embarrassed. The incredible Schramm fam on that one. Yeah, getting bigger. Let's see. Oh, who am I? Who am I? Let's see. What are we? Oh man. We poor kids, right? Oh, those poor kids. We made them dress up. Okay, now let me ask you. Have you ever felt like on the outside you need to be doing this at school? You feel like, oh yeah, I go to school and I just need to be so happy and put on a happy face. But on the inside you feel more like this. Oh. Life is so hard. Life is so hard. We have those days, don't we? But then not really. Have you ever come to school and you're actually pretending to be something on Halloween? You pretend like this, you're dressing up, and yeah, things are great, but on the inside, what are you feeling? You feel not so hot. Things aren't great. You don't feel good. You don't even feel like getting out of bed. Or you just had an argument with your mom or your dad, your boyfriend is driving you crazy, you don't feel good. So, here's some statistics. Here's the sample, 13 to 17-year-olds. So this is you. 12% had thoughts of suicide. About 4% had actually developed a plan to die by suicide. Another 4% had attempted suicide. And that's way too many. That's way too many. You guys have gone through all kinds of things that no other generation is going through because you have so much available to you. You see everyone else's lives, don't you? You have all this comparison that's going on back and forth in your lives. Look at this, 20%, 1 out of 5 of you are living with a mental health condition. There's mood disorders and anxiety and all kinds of struggles that your generation is dealing with that is on the rise. In fact, 38,000 Americans, 1 every 16 minutes. So about 3 of the time that we're together will die by suicide. Suicide is the second leading cause of death for your age group. What's number 1? Car accidents. Yep, car accidents kill more people. And then it's suicide. 90% of adolescents, 90% who had a suicidal thought had a diagnosable disorder, often depression, that they struggle with. What about this one? 60% of those who attempt suicide, non-lethal, so they did not die, 60% made a plan. They planned ahead of time. They knew exactly what was going to happen, how they were going to do it. 40% were just spontaneous. They just snap, I'm done, and out they go, and they die by suicide. Have you ever felt like you're in this fog? You're in this fog, you can't see past the next hour. Right? This just happened. This real fog just settled in. I was on the way to USU, and this real fog, I'm at 1600, I'm driving to school, I can hardly see anything in front of me. And that's your life. A lot of times, you can't see a year from now, or a week from now. You can't see yourself married and have a job with kids and have this future ahead of you. All you can see is so foggy, and all this mental health and stuff is in your way, and you can't see straight. Here is a quote, actually from a student. So I get them when they're in college, when they're 19, 20, 21 years old, 22 years old. And she says this, well, there are going to be some days when you don't even want to get out of bed. There are going to be some days when you or you don't want to eat a single bite of food. There are going to be some days when the pain from whatever you're suffering from digs so deep you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I've been there and I get it. I know what it feels like to not be able to see the future because you're so concerned with what it feels like the end of the world right now. That nothing is the end of the world. And although it may seem like it, I promise you with every fiber of my being that it isn't. This is from a 19-year-old. She knows. It gets foggy. You can't see past today sometimes. She says, hang in there. There is light at the end of this tunnel. There is more to life than just right now. So here are some texts that have come in talking about it helps. I know it's scary to tell but people how you're feeling, but you're not alone and you don't have to go through this alone. My biggest mistake all these years was never telling anyone how I felt, in fear that they would either brush me off, because who could be suicidal but not want to die, or panic and try to commit me to a hospital or something. Now, when suicide thoughts weren't black and white, your feelings are valid and there are people here for you. You're not alone. To everyone who feels this way, you aren't alone. I thought I was for the longest time. I thought I was the only one who felt this and didn't understand how I could feel this way. But please, I implore you, talk to someone, anyone, about the way you're feeling, whether it be a family member, a significant other, a friend, a therapist, someone, because you're not alone with what you're feeling and experiencing. Whether you come from, jump forward there. Whether you come from an unstable family, suffer from crippling depression, have an anxiety or an eating disorder, or whatever the case may be, it's so important that you know you aren't alone. That's the common theme in these messages. There are so many people that are suffering in the exact same way you are, even though that doesn't seem possible. So where do all these feelings come from? Usually one of three places. The one up on the top left, taking pictures of your dog, that's not really where they come from. All the time with social media. Social media, Colin Carson came and he talked about social media and the damage they can do. All right, we're comparing ourselves. These are decisions, things that we do. Now down here, there's things that other people do to us, mean and nasty things. We'll talk about some more here in a few minutes. Or you might get into an argument with a friend or a boyfriend, or someone said something mean, or on Instagram or Snapchat. The meanness now today has exceeded all levels of meanness. And there's all these funky chemicals in your brain. In your teenage years, there's all this that's going in your brain. Your serotonin, your dopamine, your oxytocin, and all this is going through your system. Your brain's still developing. So is it normal? Yes, to have these foggy feelings. To go in and out, to wonder what's going on in my life, and relationships. And then when you take all three of these, that's a recipe for disaster. The funky chemicals, others are being unkind, and you're getting yourself deeper and deeper into this pit by choices that you're making. A great book that I highly recommend everybody. It's an easy read. He's actually a great author. He's an academic, but he writes in a fantastic way. Best book I've ever read on anxiety and depression, The Upward Spiral. I buy dozens of copies and I give them to my students. Just give them away like candy. Excellent book. The Upward Spiral. Highly recommend it. This app, if you do not have these apps, I want you to slowly, carefully, quietly pull out your phone. I want you to download both of these apps right now. Even if I've never even had a thought of suicide, Dr. Dave, then this isn't for you. This could be others who approach you. This could be a family member, a best friend who is struggling, and you can text them. They're like 24/7, someone is on the other side. And if I don't want to tell my name, but these are some thoughts. Is this normal? I've been feeling this. Or my best friend just broke up with a boyfriend, or just had a fight with her mom, or just ran away from home. What can I do? What can I do? So these two apps need to be in your apps. So if you don't have these, My3 and SafeUT, make sure you download those. I've talked about some statistics, but this one I want to celebrate because this one to me is the most important one today. For every one person that dies by suicide, there are 278 people who move past the thoughts. That means that all of us will have these impulses, these things that, there's just that day that I just want to sell one of my teenagers on eBay, but I don't do it, but I'm tempted that there's that impulse, that thought, and all of us have that. We have that impulse, that thought, oh man, I want to eat that candy, or I just want to strangle my little brother. We have all these impulsive thoughts, but not acting on the thoughts. We need to celebrate this. 278 that move past it, that don't. for every one that dies by suicide. So here's Josh and Emily Smith. Josh and Emily Smith, I lived with them in the trailer court. They lived in a trailer here at USU, so I got my master's degree here at Utah State. We moved in just across the street from them in 2001. In fact, here's a picture of our trailer, number 80. Good old number 80. We bought it for $10,500, and we sold it 3 years later for $10,000. So she's a beauty. And we had Chandler and Mallory at that time. Happy little kids, are they? Don't worry, Mallory gets happier. There she is. She's really happy. Chandler, all we had to do from day one, right, to get her potty trained. Oh, there's a picture there. It was the best. We just give her a stack of magazines and say, honey, we'll be back in a couple hours. You just sit here on the potty. Okay, Dad. We'll give her Time magazine, U.S. News, World Report, Sports Illustrated if she was behaving. And she would just sit there for hours and hours and hours. Right? So great times in the trailer court. So Josh Smith, he had 3 brothers. You can see Jared, Jordan, and Jacob. So Josh is at USU. It's 2002. Now Josh's brother Jared, he struggled with mental health, suicidal thoughts, even voices. He was on medication, counseling. He received a mission call for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. He gives his Sunday, he gives his farewell talk. The next day, he flies out to the Missionary Training Center in Provo, Utah. But instead, on Monday morning, he gets up early. He takes the car, he drives to the baseball diamond where he and his brothers played. He pulls out a gun and he shoots himself in the head. So this is one of those that was planned, the 60% that were planned. That it was literally a farewell. He was saying, no one knew this, but he was saying goodbye to all of his family. Now this devastated Josh. Not only was this his brother, but this was his brother he was closest to. His dearest friend. So Jared ends his life, and we mark that with a period. His story is done. Tragically, sadly, Jared takes his own life. So much promise ahead of him. But the story gets worse. Jacob. Now let's fast forward to 2015. Jacob and Jordan, they're living together. They get into an argument. Jordan storms out. Jacob is tired of it. He goes and he gets a gun, and he shoots himself. And now Josh has 2 brothers who have died by suicide. One that was planned and one that was just spontaneous. He was frustrated, and he goes in and he kills himself. So now you can see what's happening in Josh's life. Now let me back up a little bit. Go back to not preschool, to elementary school, and Josh is bullied. He is severely bullied. Through middle school years, Josh is spit on, he's peed on, he's thrown in a dumpster, his head is literally put into a toilet. Now fast forward to sophomore year, something happens that changes Josh's life forever. Sophomore year, in high school, Josh had to eat lunch in the bathroom just to avoid the bullies. Imagine this. How can this happen? I just don't know how this can happen. One day he goes in and he gets his milk. He gets his milk and then he'd go back to the bathroom. He's on his way to go get his milk. He pays for his milk. And this sophomore, this girl, this popular girl, she grabs a piece of her cake, she throws it Josh's direction, hits Josh in the face, the frosting side, and it slowly falls off his face. He looks over there, he storms off to the bathroom. There he looks himself in the mirror, he sees the frosting on his face, he wipes it from his face, tears come to his eyes, and for the first time, Josh Smith has the thought, maybe I should kill myself. Because he remembers that girl saying, as he ran out, she said to him, "You are such a freak. Why don't you do the world a favor and go kill yourself?" I think, who would say that? Who would say that to someone? Well, honestly, all of us have had cake thrown at us, haven't we? All of us have thrown cake at other people. I know each and every one of you have. Now, you haven't physically maybe picked up a piece of cake and thrown it at somebody. But you know what it feels like to have cake thrown at you. You know what it feels like. When someone calls you out on social media, or they say, "Oh, what'd you get on the ACT? Oh, man, I got like a 19. Oh, I got like I can't remember, like 38, 39, I can't remember. Oh, close. Oh, it's Harvard. Man, they won't let me alone." What? So once you got a 19 and you're bragging about your ACT score, throw kindness, not cake. You're up at Beaver Mountain, you're having a great time. Oh, yeah, listen, I only do black diamonds. I'm a black diamond kind of guy. Oh, you're on Little Beef? Oh, what? Throw kindness, not cake. You're out in the parking lot. Oh, man, I've heard you've hit like 7 cars out there. Oh, my gosh, who does that, right? I've only hit 1. What? Throw kindness, not cake. Throw kindness. This picture's up in Mallory's room. Throw kindness around like confetti. What? You deleted Snapchat? Oh my gosh, how do you live? How do you communicate? Throw kindness, not cake. So this is Josh's story. Josh graduates from Utah State with his bachelor's in psychology. He applies to 9 graduate schools for his counseling psychology. He wants to get his PhD. All 9 reject him. And then his parents, they pull some strings and he gets into Spalding University. They know somebody there, so he starts at Spalding University. He works hard. Oh, my goodness sakes. He's working hard. For 4 years, he's working on his PhD. Now, he has some kids. His first child, Caitlin, Caitlin and the next 2 have autism, and that's a struggle. He has 2 more kids, so now he's busy. He's got 4 kids, he's in graduate school. Now that's tough. You have 4 kids, you got all this student loans, you're in graduate school. It's kind of like being thrown in a lake with no life jacket, and this 40-pound backpack with $400 worth of overpriced books. Then people start handing you children. Right here 2 with autism. Oh, here's a 3-year-old. Oh, here's a newborn. Now how are you doing, Josh? And he feels like he's sinking in this. 2 years he spends on his dissertation. It's a huge research project. 2 years into it, his professor says, Josh, we need to have a meeting. Met with the committee. We've decided that this project is actually not going to work out, and we apologize. But maybe you're just not meant for this. This project is not going to work. I'm sorry, Josh. This devastates Josh. Josh has all these student loans, and now he gets this news that you're done. So on October 30th, 2010, Josh Smith, he drives his car out to 2nd Street Bridge over the Ohio River. He walks over onto the bridge, and without even thinking, Josh jumps off the bridge. Now, something you need to know. 49 people on record have jumped off this bridge. 47 of them have died either on impact or when they die, they're falling about 50 miles per hour, they hit the water, it shatters their bones, it punctures their organs, and then they drown a slow, painful, awful death. The 2 people that survived this bridge are now in wheelchairs, they're paralyzed. Josh is number 50. Josh jumps off the bridge, he sails down, he lands on the right side of his body, immediately breaks 8 ribs. Josh starts to drown. But a miracle happens. This boat happens to be passing by. This boat comes over, rescues Josh, pulls him up out of the water. They call 911, an ambulance comes, takes Josh to the hospital. Josh recovers. Not only does Josh recover, but Josh goes back to school. He gets his PhD. He becomes a counselor. And now Josh is helping other children. He's helping children with autism. He helps kids with suicidal thoughts. And in my mind, Josh Smith is one of my all-time heroes. He says, my story isn't over, Dave. I had 2 brothers who died by suicide, signified by the period. His is a semicolon. His story is not over. So don't let your story end. Now Josh, he raised over $10,000. This Out of Darkness walks. He continues to do it every year. Notice what's on their shirt. Be one who lived. Be one who lived. Those who jump off bridges, I've listened to a man speak, a police officer, who speaks about suicide. And he happens to be a police officer who has responded to numerous calls at the Golden Gate Bridge. He has walked, people jump off the bridge. He's talked to a lot of people off the bridge. He says between 1% to 2% people jump off the Golden Gate Bridge. Of those 1% to 2% who jump off the bridge, every single one of them regretted it. The moment that they jumped, they regretted it. And so did Josh. So that means no more periods, right? No more periods. I'm not talking about ladies, I can't help you with that part. I'm talking about no more ending your life. No more, because you matter. Your story matters. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you a little slideshow that I put together in celebration of Josh's life that he lives. So take a look.
There are times when you might feel aimless and can't see the places where you belong, but you will find that there is a purpose. It's been there within you all along, and when you're near it, you can almost hear it. It's like a symphony. Just keep listening, and pretty soon you'll start to figure out your part. Everyone plays a piece, and there are melodies in each one of us. Oh, it's glorious. And you will know how to let it ring out as you discover who you are. Others around you will start to wake up to the sounds that are in their hearts. It's so amazing what we're all creating. It's like a symphony. Just keep listening, and pretty soon you'll start to figure out your part. Everyone plays a piece, and there are melodies in each one of us. Oh, it's glorious. And as you feel the notes build, you will see. It's like a symphony. Just keep listening, and pretty soon you'll start to figure out your part. Everyone plays a piece, and there are melodies each one of us. Oh, it's glorious.
What did you think? Isn't his life amazing? Isn't his life amazing? And yet, that day when he jumped, if he didn't live, you see how much you've been missing out on? See how glorious the life can be? Yeah, you get stuck in the fog. Yes, that's normal to have that fog. But don't let that fog, those temporary times, derail you from all that's behind the fog. So much. And his kids and what they would be missing out on, his wife. Do you see how many lives now he touches? He counsels kids. He does so much good. The power of one life. It can't be measured. So I love this. These are Josh's posts. This kid makes my day. Look at this. When you see someone who used to bully you in high school and you're the one with a doctorate degree and a hot wife, right? It's like, yeah, now look who's laughing now. Right? Or my wife ain't allowed to play the lottery. She hit the jackpot when she met me. I love that. Do you see how much happiness? Now today, Josh Smith, I'll talk to him and he said, Dave, there's still hard days. But I know, now I have some coping strategies, and I know medicines, or I know when I need to reach out and talk to somebody. Because it's a mental health issue that is very real, and it affects so many people. Now, just this morning, Just like an hour and a half ago, I put this in because Josh posted this just today. He says, I drive by the street every day when I go to work. During the worst part of my depression, I felt like this tree, all alone in a field. It wasn't until I felt better that I realized I was surrounded by support in a forest. The whole time, he felt like the lone tree, not realizing how many webs of connection, the whole forest of trees that are there, but at the time you feel like the only one out in the forest, that you're the only one. So I love this. I follow him and I laugh or I cry every time I read his posts, because Josh Smith is the best. Now, I have a Twinkie challenge. I'm going to have some helpers. They're going to toss some Twinkies, but if you get one, you cannot open it because there's a challenge for those who receive it. So Hope Squad, front and center. I want you to pass out some Twinkies.
Who wants a Twinkie?
Remember, you can't open them.
Hey, yo, Manny, no. Dude, that was mine. That was my Twinkie. All right. I don't want one. Hey, give me a Twinkie. No, okay.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Twinkies are cake-ish. All right.
No, you sniped me.
Okay, stand up if you got a Twinkie.
No, I didn't.
Stand up.
Snapchat.
Stand up. There should be 30 of you out there. Okay. Okay, hold up your Twinkie. And repeat after me. You ready? I solemnly swear I will not eat this Twinkie, but I will give it away to make someone's day in a special way. So help me, Hannah. Okay, good. Now sit down, sit down. Okay, now those who receive Twinkies, this is the Twinkie challenge. You need to give this Twinkie away to someone that you don't know very well. And you got to get a picture of someone take a picture of you doing it, right? Handing the Twinkie off. Use hashtag throw kindness. Throw kindness. Now that person who receives it, they can either eat it or they can pass it along and eat it. The whole purpose is to learn to throw kindness, not cake. And Twinkies, no, it's not cake. Twinkies is kind of like a moist cake. Okay, here, Wolfpack, here's your challenge. This is your challenge. At least this week, I encourage you to make it a challenge for your life. At least this week, text 2 before 10. That means you text 2 people before 10 a.m. a sincere, heartfelt, real text. Either of love, hey, just thinking about you, hey, thanks so much, appreciation. Text 2 before 10. You gonna do it?
Yes.
Yeah, solemnly swear? Okay. Next one. 3 extra smiles. You've heard the 10-5 rule, you know that. I've heard you guys have done that already, right? Everyone smile? Okay, that was big. Yeah. Your real smile releases dopamine, so 3 extra smiles. It can improve your mood, right? Instantly. Make time for 9 meaningful touches. Colin Carson here, you talk about the 8-second hug. I'm sorry to tell you, it's 9. He was 1 second short, so all those hugs, they didn't do anything for you. No, they totally did. They totally did. Make time for 9 meaningful touches. And throw kindness. Throw kindness on social media. Throw kindness, not cake. Throw kindness on social media. And, okay, take a picture. Pull out your camera right now. Pull out your cameras. Take a picture of this because you gotta do this. Hopefully I'm in the picture. Because you need to send Josh Smith an email. And we're going to flood his inbox with kindness. Not cake. Kindness. Okay? So take a picture of this. Use the hashtag throw kindness. Throw kindness. Okay, did everybody get a picture of it?
No.
Okay, so what do? We eat cake. Cake. But we throw kindness. So this week, reach out, throw kindness in other people's direction. Not cake. And I want to give you my personal email address. Okay, now I do this at assemblies, and students will email me. They'll say, Dr. Dave, thank you, or the resources. You're going to talk to, I've never talked with anybody about this. Send me an email. Send me an email. I promise I'll reply. If you're not sure what to do, but to reach out, to connect with someone, and throw kindness. Not cake.
Okay.
Throw kindness. So let me leave you with these words. Life is wonderful. You only get one. Don't end your story. See what you become. Thanks so much, TC. You guys are great.